Have you ever wondered why the US and China are going at it so hard with this whole trade war thing? And Europe and Russia too? They're throwing shade at each other, both on the world stage and in their own parliaments. Doesn't that make you curious? If they hate each other this much, why don't they just start a war and get it over with already? If you think stories about money like this are worth supporting so more people can listen, understand, and benefit from them, you can support the Money Monster channel by scanning this QR code right here. Or just hit like, share, subscribe, or leave a comment to cheer us on. That alone would make us really happy. Now, let's move on to why they don't just start a war and get it over with already. Because honestly, it's almost impossible. When it comes to going to war, there's just no way to come out ahead, whether you win or lose. All you get is loss after loss. Loss of resources, loss upon loss. In this video, I'll be drawing information from the big debt crisis and the Bitcoin standard, both of which dive deep into financial stories to analyze just how deeply war can drag down the economy and why, no matter how much people hate each other, they still end up going to war. Hold back, control your emotions. Don't shoot each other. Absolutely not. Believe it or not, no matter if it's an economic crisis or anything else happening in the world, a recession, a depression, which is even worse than a recession, basically an economic downturn, nothing can wreck an economy as badly as war. Simply put, war is the most effective destroyer of economies in the world. But the thing is, war usually comes after an economic downturn combined with political issues. Things get pretty messy, and whether you end up on the losing or winning side of a war, war always brings devastating consequences to the people, especially through inflation that can get so severe it turns into hyperinflation. This destroys the value of a country's currency and wipes out the wealth of its people everywhere, leaving no one untouched. And the only thing war leaves behind for the people to hold on to is hardship and deep-seated resentment. When I say hyperinflation can happen, it's because according to data from the big debt crisis, there isn't a single country in the world that has enough money to wage war and at the same time take care of its own people. So to fund a war, to raise money for it, a country has to, first, borrow an enormous amount of money. And if borrowing still isn't enough, they'll also have to add to that by printing massive amounts of money as well. This is a surefire way to destroy the value of the currency. And the worst part, the ultimate stain on a country's leader who drags their nation into war, is that it creates enormous debt for the country. Going to war and losing the war, because that only multiplies the devastation, emotionally, physically, and economically. It's like the country has a steel stake driven right through its heart. Add to that inflation, war reparations, or penalties for the losing side. That's why once a war starts, everyone has to fight. They go all in, pouring every last bit of money they have into trying to win, because whoever loses the war has to pay damages to the winning country. And of course, where is the losing side supposed to find the money to pay those reparations? How can a country that's just been devastated by war, its people, its economy, its finances, its loved ones all lost, possibly afford to pay for the damages? No one has ever really managed to recover well after losing a war. I once wrote about the financial crisis and the era of hyperinflation for Krungtep Tarakid. If you want the full story, you can check it out there. But for now, let me give you a brief summary. Take the German Empire, for example. After losing World War I, they had their territories carved up until only the core, known as the Weimar Republic, was left. And then they were forced to pay war reparations, a staggering sum of $156,000. Marks, and marks were the currency of the German Empire at that time, plus another 130 billion marks in penalties related to the Versailles Treaty. Like I said, after a war, what country could possibly afford to pay such an enormous amount? So Germany had no choice but to print a massive amount of money. The scale of money printing was so huge that you could imagine the printing presses as furnaces and the act of printing money as flames. The more money they printed, it was exactly like fueling a massive furnace to burn up the entire value of the money people held in their hands. The more they printed, the more it rapidly destroyed the purchasing power of people's savings, until the mark experienced extreme hyperinflation at its absolute peak, reaching a staggering 4.2 trillion marks for every single dollar. It could only be exchanged for $1. Can you imagine how weak a currency has to be for that to happen? Just picture if today the Thai baht skyrocketed to the point where you needed 4.2 trillion baht to get $1. That would mean all the money and assets you have would be worthless, completely wiped out, because the government printed money and burned up the value of your currency. Until the currency became so devalued and weak, the German Empire at that time became known for its people losing everything, everywhere. No matter how many generations or eras families had accumulated their wealth or treasures, it was all wiped out. So why was the war able to destroy the value of the currency to such an extent? If we look back, the reason is that during World War I, the government decided to abandon the gold standard. This is also mentioned in the book Bit. The Bitcoin standard writes that if gold is in the hands of the people, gold is real money with real value, right? If the government wants to wage war, it has to raise funds by squeezing taxes out of people who don't want to give them, which leads to resistance and opposition. But if the gold standard is abolished and replaced with a fiat money system, the government doesn't have to wrestle taxes from the people anymore. Now they can just print money instantly. The Bitcoin standard also says that if at that time governments hadn't abandoned the gold standard, World War I might have lasted only a few months. The governments would have run out of funds and the war would have had to be negotiated and ended. But because each government decided to abandon the gold standard and print money to fund the war, they decided to destroy the value of the currency, which ended up prolonging the war. At that time, after the government decided to abandon the gold standard, they had citizens deposit their gold with the central bank and gave them notes, basically money, as a replacement, notes that represented gold. But as I mentioned, the government betrayed the people by printing more money than the amount of gold they actually had. That's why the currency became a complete mess during the war. Let's take a look at the chart. This way you'll get a clearer picture. In this chart, you can see that the countries that won the war, the red line, were printing money at about 10% of their GDP, which is already a lot. But for the countries that lost, especially as they were getting closer to defeat, they had to print even more money. Right before losing, they printed money like crazy. They were printing money at around 40% of their GDP. Like I said, with this method, they didn't have to squeeze taxes out of the people. They just outright stole the value of people's money. In the book, The Bitcoin Standard, it's clearly shown that whether a country won or lost the war, the value of every currency dropped. You can see on this line here, the inflation rate for the winning countries went up to about 5%. 5% is still manageable. It's not that bad, but for the countries that lost the war, inflation skyrocketed exponentially. It shot straight up. It went straight down to Neptune. And if you ask whether the winners of the war really benefited, well, even if you win, you might be able to seize some territory, but no matter how much land you take, it's never enough to make up for the devastation caused by the war. So in the end, war is never worth it. There's only ruin, whether it's a lot or a little. So this video is just laying the groundwork to explain why, no matter how much two sides might hate each other, they'll still try their hardest to avoid going to war. But if you're curious about what it actually takes for a country to win a real war, what a country needs to come out on top, I'll break it down for you in the next video. I'll split it into two sides for you to see. The big ones, of course, are the United States and China. We'll compare them head to head, matching them blow for blow, to see how the resources of these two countries stack up according to the theories laid out in the Big Debt Crisis. If they were to actually go to war, who would come out on top? If you want to follow along, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the little bell for me, okay? And in the next video, we'll have to see how they really measure up.